In Laramie, Wyoming Territory, I met a square-jawed sheriff named Will Harper and his slack-jawed deputy named Clem. I also lost $20.
Frontier Gentlemen. Herewith an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories. Now, starring John Daner, this is the story of J.B. Kendall, Frontier Gentleman.
Taken the stagecoach from Dry Creek and was on my way back to Cheyenne. Beside myself, there were two other passengers. One, a gaunt, stern-faced man named Barnaby, who spent most of his waking hours reading from the Bible. The other, Thad Clark, a miner who, having made a modest fortune, was on his way to his home in Illinois. It was late you won't find much.
Well, it's a right handsome-looking watch you got there.
I like it.
Take it off.
No.
Come on now, take it off.
It has a great sentimental value to me. It can't be worth more than a few dollars to you.
It all adds up, mister. Take it off.
No.
You figure it's worth your life?
In a way.
Hey, look here what I found.
Who belongs to this?
It's mine. Guess there ain't no use asking you to leave it be.
That's a fact. It sure breaks my heart the way you river snipers have to sweat to get that much dust. Give him back a sack of it, CD, and see what's in the other boxes.
Here you are, partner. Enough for grubs.
Now, about that watch.
Is it worth killing me for it?
Mister, that's a plumb low-code question. I plugged a fellow once over a chaw of tobacco. What's your name?
Kendall.
I like to meet a man with guts.